Hunley, community historian at the Western Heritage Center, and we recognize that people have really amazing family collections in their homes. And a lot of these things are really special to us, whether they're heirlooms, gifts, just general historic items that are important. And these things require special care. Of course, as a museum, working for a museum, we understand the importance behind these objects. We understand that the stories behind them are so important to you personally. But we also want to help you and equip you to be able to care for these items in your home so that they are preserved and they last as long as possible. So today I'm just going to show you a little bit about caring for your family quilts. Now, most of us with quilts at home, we just tend to fold them up, put them in cedar chests or trunks, or put them in closets, and that works. It definitely keeps them protected, but over the long term, it can actually do some damage to the quilt itself. What we see when we fold a quilt or a blanket like this is it puts a lot of stress right here on these creases, and over time it tends to break down the threads, both of the stitching, the quilted stitching, and the threads holding the fabric together. So if we were to take this quilt into the museum, we would not fold it like this. Instead, we would roll it. Now, I understand that quilts are really large and rolling takes up a little bit of room. So I'm going to show you today a little bit of a modified way that you can roll your quilt, keep it protected, but not take up as much room as what we would in the museum. Now, I have already tested my quilt. I already know that my colors are color safe. So things like I'm not going to worry about my white bleeding color or bleeding a print onto the other side. The same with the top here. I don't have to worry about when the fabrics touch each other that they're going to transfer across. If you are not sure about your quilt, or if your fabric is not color safe, especially if it's an older fabric, you might need to create an extra layer. So you might need to put a layer between these two here, or you might need to lay a layer on top before you start rolling. You can use museum safe tissue paper. Now, this is not the tissue paper that you buy in the store to wrap presents with. Museum quality tissue paper is acid free, it's chemical free, and it's a little bit sturdier than regular tissue paper. You can purchase it online at museum resources online, places like Gaylord or Uline or some other stores like that. I am actually today just going to be using regular quilt batting. This is just regular polyester quilt batting. Now, understanding too that this is not technically museum quality. Also understanding that when I store my quilt, I need to check it regularly to make sure that my padding isn't changing color, it's not degrading and flaking off. If that were to happen, I'd have to change it out. But for what we're doing today, for home use, just regular craft store quilt batting does the trick. Now for us today, you might notice that my corner here is a little puffy. One of the things I've done is I've used my quilt batting and I've balled it up just a little bit and have put it in the corner of my crease. And what this does is it creates a raised area so that all of that stress doesn't sit right down on the thread count. None of my crease here is going to sit flat when I roll it. And all I'm going to do is take my batting here, roll over the edge, and just roll it up all the way down. Now, as I said, if you need to, you can add another layer here and just roll it in. Just roll it up. Now, this is now ready to store. I can put it in a bag. I could wrap it in more either museum safe tissue paper or cotton batting, but I can just put that right into a trunk or into a closet as it is. Now, recognizing that that still takes up a little bit of room, if you're not able to do this, if you still feel like you need to fold your quilt, keeping in mind that if you do not have color safe materials, you should layer either batting or museum safe tissue paper, but you could still fold your quilt. But what I'm going to ask you to do, just like we did the crease down here, you take that batting or that tissue paper, you roll it up and you stuff your creases here. You would just do that every time you'd fold. You'd put one here, you put one here and fold it again. So that every crease has that little extra padding so that it doesn't put undue stress on those threads here on the edge. So that's just a quick little understanding, a quick little look at how you can care for your quilts, your family quilts, how you can protect them, how you can preserve them. Stay tuned because I think we've got some other really great caring for your family collection videos coming up in the next couple weeks.